What's going on? What's happening, man? Welcome to the Kardell Sims podcast, where it's going to be all things considered, man. Where I'm going to be talking about just a lot of different things, many different topics. You're going to get to see my process, what's going on in my mind, or just some things that I'll be talking about. Later on, future, we're going to be having guests, and we're going to be talking, like I said, it's going to be about many different topics and things that's just going on in the world, religion, business, motivation, information, just a lot of different topics that I'm going to be covering, just that I'm interested in and probably want to learn more about and put more things out there, just so you all can just know a little bit more about me and outside of the reentry work and things that I do. I'm going to be talking about some of that stuff as well, and me being an author and yeah, so my mind be going all many different places. So man, where we get started, man. So first of all, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the new. This is the first episode, but I'm really looking forward to taking this journey as I branch off into this type of podcast. And as you know, I do host the Reentry Journey podcast as well. So go follow that, subscribe, like. We highlight the journey of those coming out of prison and walking into success. And so it's a great podcast. And go subscribe, check them out, check out the episodes. But what we at today, man? What's going on in the world today? P Diddy, P Diddy. I ain't really want to get all into the case and the specifics of what's going on in that case and the victims and things of that nature. But what this reminds me of is we know that people been knowing that this has been going on for a long time in the industry, right? And it's just been kept behind closed doors. And it's kind of like that mentality that we have in our culture and saying in the black families, growing up, that saying of what goes on in this house stays in this house. And that's a problem when you really look at it, because a lot of the things that's going on in the house, for this to be said, is things that are affecting the children, things that are happening to the children. And so now the children has been told what goes on in this house stays in this house. And it's a lot of things that's being held in, secrets, and these things lead to other things. And for those of you, it's kind of like it's adverse childhood experiences, because these type of experiences lead to either them becoming a perpetrator or leads to them using alcohol, drugs, and things of this nature. And so that's what I think about when I think about like the Diddy situation, like people knowing that this was going on. When you look at R. Kelly or you look at Harvey Weinstein or all this stuff that's going on in Hollywood and in entertainment, and this is all kept behind closed door, that what goes on here stays here or stays within this circle mentality, when it's really a lot of hurt and pain and perpetrators in these type of environments that saying these things. And so we must stop that mentality, right? What goes on in this house stays in this house. Now I understand the logic and the mentality behind that. When some people say that, like, we don't want our business in the streets, that type of things. So I get it, I understand, but it's also that, airing out our dirty laundry. Sometimes our dirty laundry need to be aired out, right? So it can be clean, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants to be laying around with some dirty laundry? Like, when you think about it realistically, about you walking in a house full of dirty laundry, you just say, fellas, you kicking it with a female, or ladies, you dating a man, and then you walk into his house or you walk into their room and they got dirty laundry everywhere. How you gonna be feeling like what, like, man, huh? It's gonna throw you off. Well, it should. Some of y'all might not, but it should throw you off. And like, that's how it is. Like, dirty laundry in your, on the other side of what we speaking on, like, that stuff needs to be cleaned. It needs to be aired out, dried, refreshed, right? And so that mentality of what stays in this house, what goes on in this house stays in the house, has hurt us as a community. It's hurt the black community, because as we starting to see with the mental health issues is coming from things that are happening inside the household as a child. And so I recommend, like, if you're dealing with some type of trauma, stress, to take the ACE test so you can see what it is that you're dealing with and start to address the root issues, and what goes on in your house. If it's affecting you, if someone's hurting you or things of that nature, it don't stay in that house. You need to tell someone about it. So when I think of the Diddy situation, that's the type of things that I think about. Like that's that mentality right there. And so, I mean, it's real crazy, but for all the victims that's involved, the true victims, because I mean, I say true victim because when you're going to start seeing a lot of people coming out of nowhere with lawsuits trying to jump on, get a little money, you know how it goes. But for the true victims, you know what I'm saying, my heart goes out to you, and I hope that you get the justice that you feel like you deserve. So that's just that on that. But yeah, we got to kill that mentality. What goes on in this house stays in this house, because a lot of things that fall up under that, man, is hurting our children, that's hurting us, that's hurting our parents, and so forth. So yeah, man, man, I'm really excited about doing this. I ain't gonna lie, man. I've been procrastinating, starting this podcast, even just doing this for a while, because I was trying to come up with all these different names and things like that. But I am my brand, so ain't no spectacular name to this podcast, man. But this is just the Kardell Sims podcast, kind of like Joe Rogan. Yeah, this is Kardell Sims. And so, yeah, I'm glad I got it started. I just want to tell this story though, right? Check this out. So y'all know, I go in prisons and I go around the country in prisons and speak and run workshops. I run programs in prisons as well. I do reentry consulting. I'm a mentor. I do a lot of work in the reentry field. And last month we had the opportunity to go into one of Tennessee's most dangerous prisons, not the dangerous prisons, and it's a lot of but this it was a problematic prison in Tennessee that we had the chance to go to kind of do an assessment. And I was able to partner up, with my mentor. I transitioned from, I still my mentor, but our mentor we worked on projects together now. And so I had the opportunity to go, be a part of a project, to go in. We went in with like 40 people. We had NBA's star, my man Eddie Curry. He was with us, former NBA player Eddie Curry. We had Pistol Pete from New York. We had Donk. We had my Andre Norman. We had Life. I got to bring a couple of my students, a couple of people on my team. Like, we went in 40 deep. It was of some heavy hitters. And we got to walk around this prison, and we walked through every cell block, every dorm, every education. We went through the whole prison, doing assessments, talking with the guys, interacting with staff, talking with them, because we're trying to, change the environment in this prison. And it's crazy because I had to catch myself, like, we change, and a lot of guys, saying in this field can relate. Like, we change our life around. We're not who we are, but we still have principles, and there's still some things about us that's kind of comes from that lifestyle that we used to live that sticks with us, right? And we walked in one unit, and we was talking to some guys, and I go upstairs on the top tier, and I see a couple guys just standing there. I'll go over to talk to him. So I talked to this one guy. He was a white guy. I pulled up on him like, yeah, man, tell me a little bit about you, man. What's going on with you, man? And he was like, man, get the fuck away from me. I'm like, what? So I'm like, all right, what's up? Like, man, y'all can't fool me, man. I know y'all the TBI. I know y'all the FBI. And I'm like, what? So I instantly get on defense, because where I come from, calling somebody the police and things like that, like, you got to stand on that. But like, if I was in prison, because I've been to prison 5 times. So if I was on the other side in prison, and you told me I was the police, like, what's happening? We got to get down. You know what I'm saying? You got to stand on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get on your line, right? And so at that moment, for a split second, like, that part of me came to the forefront. When he said that, I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? But then I had to catch myself and realize, man, you can't be, how you gonna come in here with the you know what I'm saying, uplifting and bringing the message with the brothers, and then you turn around up in here fighting with the dude, because he calling you the TBI, the FBI, like, he calling you the police. And I just backed away from him. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, yeah, he a clown. And that's the mentality, because me being incarcerated in things. That's one of the mentalities that brothers like everything that come through the door that's for the good. They think it's tied to the police or they the police. They so paranoid. They so anti justice system that everybody the police. You know what I'm saying? These tablets, oh man, they the police. They just watching us, and you know what I'm saying, the phones. They like you run into these type of dudes locked up. And I know it sounds crazy, but you really do. You run into these type of guys locked up, like they just everything is just the police. You know what I'm saying? And that's the mindset. And so he missed the opportunity. Like he really missed the opportunity to connect with a mentor, to learn some things. He talking about he's gonna be out. He's like, man, I'm gonna be out in a few weeks. We'll see, and all of this stuff. So he missed the opportunity because his mindset allowed him to be stuck in a place. I ain't even talking about prison physically. I'm talking about mentally imprisoned itself. That he think we the police, we the FBI, we DOJ. That he missed the opportunity to connect with one of us. Mentorship. You about to get out. And from his mindset, and I'm not saying that it's true, but just from my observation, he most likely ain't got no plan and no stuff lined up with that mentality, right? Because I can guarantee you, he's holding that mentality with us. He holding that mentality with any authority figure, from the COs to the PO when he get out, the case managers, things. He's gonna hold that same mentality to that. But the crazy part, I'm like, in my mind, you know what I'm saying, the other side of me, like, y'all, you trying to be tough with me, and you ain't. We already done went through the dangerous unit. You ain't even in the dangerous unit. So don't act like you don't get tough with me. If you tough, you be over there in the danger unit. So, but like but like, yeah, he really hurt himself with that mentality. He's out now and he should be, but I hope that, he's doing right. But just from my interaction, that 10, 15 to 30-second interaction, I can already tell that, he might be on the run right now because him and his PO got into it. So, that's one of the things, man. We have to change our mindset, because even those in prison and those out of prison, you're still, even though you're not physically in prison, you're still in prison because you allowing these self-limited beliefs to hold you back. And that's a prime example of self-limited beliefs, man. Like, you missed the opportunity. You got some. We came in there with some heavy hitters. You had the opportunity to make connections, get the word. When you about to walk out, like, yeah, he really missed the opportunity. But yeah, that threw me for a loop. But for that split second, man, that old Kardell was at the forefront. That prison Kardell was there, but that's how you got to, you can recognize things and catch yourself. So I just want to share that experience with you all. Just to talk a little bit about mindset, right? And how the mindset can stop you from making certain connections that will elevate you in the life. And some of people have these mindsets, like taking programs and stuff. Like, I'm not just talking about people in prison. I'm talking about people on the outside. Like, I be on social media and like on Facebook. I know a lot of people I'm close to. Like, Facebook's more my personal people I really know, right? And I see a lot of them trying to get into business and got their business, but they really just think the business is going to they got the mindset that the business is going to come to them, not that they got to go get the business. And so they don't really put a lot of effort into really growing their business, things that it takes in growing their business. And one of them things is it takes like joining a community. Even if the community costs, like, you should be able to, if you're able to make connections, you're able to learn more about business, then what I'm saying, you should be joining them communities. And I know a lot of people be hesitant because, hey man, so a lot of people that be scamming their communities, shout out to Tony the Closer. Tony the Closer don't be doing no faking, he's shutting the scammers down. But a lot of people be scamming, their programs be scamming, so now you hesitant to, you don't know which one to take. I even seen my man name as a possible scammer on there, but I've been through his program. I've been a part of it, man, and it's 100 legit, man. He real deal. I watched him grow as I've grown, and that's my boy, my guy David Shans, aka Sleepers for Suckers, the morning meetup, the Real Social Proof podcast, Hot Seat podcast. Man, I joined this program, Sleepless Nights, when I got out of prison. Man, it cost me $79 a month, and I was probably, man, when I first got out of prison, I probably was making like 60, $70 a week after child support, after fines, after taxes. I wasn't doing. I'm making $11 an hour at the time, so I joined the program and I saved the money up to join the program. I used to have to switch credit cards, debit cards to pay the bill and stuff. But I joined the business program because I knew I wanted to be in business and I didn't know nothing about really being an entrepreneur and what it really took. So when I joined the program, I found him by watching some. He was getting his hair cut in the barber. Shit, this is how I found him. He was getting his hair cut in the barber. He was at the barber, him and his barber. He was getting his hair cut and they was having a conversation and the barber said a word wrong and Dave corrected him and it was like it was like a little slight little, debate in a sense almost, but kind of not like it wasn't. And they went on with the conversation. And that was, for me, that right there was something new because any situation where I seen with somebody like try to on the block, try to correct somebody, whatever, it turns into a full-fledged argument. Sometimes the arguments goes to blows. Sometimes the blows goes to shootout and things like that. So to see that transpire and it didn't turn into a full-blown argument, I started watching all his videos and seeing that Dave was into entrepreneurship. And he had a clothing brand, Sleepers for Suckers, and how it represented the entrepreneurs and things like that. And then I seen he had this program called Sleepless Nights for people that was trying to transfer from their job into entrepreneurship. And I joined the program, and it was like 20 of us faithfully. But what I liked about the program was that he used to bring people on and share about their businesses and their strategy and what they did. And not only that, he used to teach. Like he was teaching every morning. Like he'd get on there, teach us all these different things, and I'm taking notes and everything. And then we met Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock in the morning Central Time for 1 hour, and then on Wednesday nights they had speakers training. Well, I also knew I wanted to be a speaker when I was coming out of prison, so the speaker training felt good right in there. So I took the speakers training in that group as well, and it was taught by my guy Life, and one of the dopest speaker out there. So if you ain't up on my guy Life, Dr. Life, on Instagram, Life Speaks Life. If you ain't up on Life, you get up on him. But he was the speakers coach, and I was faithfully in that speakers training class. I was faithfully at these meetings every morning, listening in to business owners, and we met on Sunday evenings too. So I was faithfully in these groups every morning. Work if I was at work, if I wasn't at work, and from that group, man, I just built. I made connections in that group, and that's how I found my mentors. Andre Norman and Melvin Nunnery. Rest in peace, Melvin. Oh man, I hate to hear, that when I got the word. So rest in peace to Melvin Nunnery over there at Scholarly Me. So yeah, check out that app, Scholarly Me. If you into sports and college athletes, check out the app Scholarly Me. But rest in peace, Melvin. He was one of my mentors, and then also Andre Norman. And so I was able to meet these type of guys and I was able to grow. And like I said, this was 6 years ago I jumped in this community and we was 20 people faithfully. And then now it's the same group, name changed, called the Morning Meetup. It's probably like 300-400 people there every morning, book of the month, learning and everything like that. But if I wouldn't have invested in that group, I'm going to be honest with you, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So that's the importance of, if you're trying to grow, to get in these type of communities, even if it costs to get to learn these type of things, because it plays a big thing. So if you stuck, you're trying to figure out what's your next move, man. I need to grow in my business. I need to make connections. You need to join these type of communities. Find these communities. You know what I'm saying? I recommend the Morning Meetup because I've been through it. Dave 100% legit. I watched him grow from Sleepers to Suckers to doing the podcast, to branching off in real estate. I watched him grow from like 15,000 followers to all the followers he has now. And he's still him. He ain't changed. You know what I'm saying? Or nothing like that. So yeah, join the group, man. If you out there and you in the business lane, I highly recommend that you join some type of entrepreneurship academy and things like that. Do your research on them. Ask people who's in the group what they think about it. And then you get into that group, but you need to get into that group most definitely, and Also, I got a Visionary Hustler program. Go to my website, KardellSims.com. Go to the programs, join the Visionary Hustler 30-day program, and you stay faithful to that program for 30 days, man. I can guarantee you that you're going to make some strides and have some clear direction of where you're trying to go with yourself and your business. But yeah, join the program, man. You got to. It's a must to join some type of program or branch off, because a lot of y'all get stuck trying to just connect with people in your city and realizing that you can take your business outside of your city and things of that nature. So yeah, join for all you entrepreneurs trying to grow and transition into this. Start joining them type of communities for real. I highly recommend that. So man, what's next on the list, man? What else I got? What else I want to talk about, man? What else is on my mind? I mean, I don't really, you know, man, I've been thinking about some doing some topics like some true crime topics and stuff as well in the midst of this podcast, because them type of things I be into. Those that was in Bates County with me, they tell you I used to order Jesse Ventura, the conspiracy books. Man, I'm into these things because man, I believe a lot of these things hold some weight. And I read this one book called Dead Wrong, and it was about a lot of deaths that they claim suicide or overdoses, stuff like that. But it just didn't, like, yeah, it just didn't come out. It just didn't come out right. It just didn't come out. Um, uh, yeah, the stories just didn't add up. Kind of like you know what I'm saying, the story about Vincent Foster. Now I think about it, we might dig deep into more of this. So if you tuned in, if you don't know about the case of Vincent Foster, uh, take a look into it. Vincent Foster, this guy grew up same elementary school and stuff with Bill Clinton and everything, and you know what I'm saying, he part of the team, get to the White House and everything. The word is that him and Hillary Clinton was messing around, yeah, and they in one of the rooms in the White House, right? And they found him in the park in his car. Said he committed suicide, and a lot of things didn't add up. So yeah, I'm into these type of things. Matter of fact, I think on the next episode we'll go a little bit deeper, and I'll break down some more of the things about the Vincent Foster, and then you all tell me what you think. So but I just wanted to start this off. This is the podcast that I have now, the Kardell Sims podcast that I'm bringing out with, and I just wanted this kind of like the first podcast, the introductory things, and so this get used to this. I mean, you all going to get me in this manner and everything, and I mean it's just what it is, man, and just what it do. I do want to give you kind of like some personal development tip. Like, and one thing I'll say, man, is to know thyself. Like, I don't know what your spirituality is, religion. Me personally, I'm not really. I don't have no set religion. I'm more of a spiritual person. I'm more of a knowledge of self person, understanding that as above, so within. Like, so, I'm that knowledge of self. Every morning I wake up, I try to get out and sit out on my little back, little patio area or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, and watch the sunrise and enjoy, you know what I'm saying, that little nature, and then kind of like just meditate, tap in and start seeing visions and things like that. And so, and now I say start seeing visions. I know like, oh, you don't went crazy now, but like seeing things, seeing where you're going, like taking the time to see where you're going, how you're going to get there, reflecting on, on the other things, and then also, what I'm saying, taking a look at it and examining yourself, getting an understanding of yourself and things that you need to cut away, things that, what I'm saying, that you need to build on. Like, you have to take this time to think about every day. Like, where's your destination? Where are you going today? 'Cause a lot of people wake up every day and you don't even take the simple time to say thank you, right? Like, to wake up and say thank you, man, that you got to see another day. Like, some people's not blessed. When you wake up to see another day, that's your blessing for the day, right? That's the blessing for the day. Now, you're gonna go through some things throughout that day, but it's how you react to them, and you know what I'm saying, and You control that, right? One thing for one thing for sure, two things for certain, man. We gotta go, right? We gotta go. And people my age, man, we almost to the point. I mean, ain't no almost like we at the point where we got more time behind us than we got in front of us. So like, what is it? What is we doing here? Like, what are we really doing? Like, you need to patch up relationships, rebuild and repair relationships. Like, like I wrestle with myself every day. Honestly, like, I have to rebuild. I need to get more closer to my children and my grandchildren because I done missed so much time out of their life, running in and out of prison. And now that I got out and I changed, and now in the business that I'm in, I'm all over the place. I done moved away. They done moved. Like, we all in our own life. Like, I got to, saying, I got to get close with them. Like, my youngest son, I need to build a stronger relationship with him. And so, like, we have to take the time out to reflect on where we at, the things that we need to rebuild, the things that we need to repair, the things that's worth keeping, the things that we need to let go. In reality, all of us got more time behind us than we got ahead of us. Because some of us ain't going to make it through the day. Some of us ain't going to be here tomorrow. And then, I don't know what your belief is about afterlife and things of that nature. But, you want to get your soul together, man. You want to get your soul together. It ain't your spirit, man. Like your spirit is your connection to God. That's the connecting part. That's going to always be right? It's a soul. You know what I'm saying? You got a soul. You got a soul who are, the actions is thinking, reason, willing, and understanding. Like, you got to know how to control these things. Then you got a body, a thing of flesh. You know what I'm saying? This body is a carnal. A lot of your soul fights come from fleshly desires. Oh yeah, man, I get into this. Yeah, this type of stuff I'm talking about. But a lot of your nature, your foes come from this fleshly desire. Think about that, right? So you got a soul inside of you whose actions, like I said, are the thinking, reasoning, willing, and understanding. And when you got understanding is the rock on which you're gonna build yourself on. And so you got to know, like, this soul was here to play its medium between the spirit and the flesh, right? That's what you wrestling with. That's that devil side. That's the flesh. That's almost like that devil side, right? And then you got your spirit. That's, you got the angel and the devil on the shoulder, and so you wrestling. Your soul is the medium between that. Okay, like, you got to rationalize. You got to will. Like, we was given the will, right? We got the will to choose. You go this way or that way, right? You can choose. You can walk in the spirit. You can walk in the flesh. And you might looking like, say, man, this flesh ain't all that bad, but a lot of the foes that you're fighting coming from the flesh, right? Your spirit is your connecting to God, but in order for you to be unfold back into that spirit back one with God, you got to start walking in with certain principles. You got to start walking in certain paths. You got to start meditating, sitting still, bridging that connection. You got to start understanding self, right? You got to understand the self. There's a higher self and there's a lower self. Spirit, there's a flesh. And you got to understand what these represent. Like the higher self, that's the mother of virtues. And, like, I learned from a lot of the things I learned about knowledge of self is from the more science simple, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We don't hear about Prophet Noble Drew Ali a lot in our time, in our community, but that's where my basic understanding of knowledge of self, the creation of fallen man, and these type of instructions. That's where I get a lot of my instructions from, based off of, is from Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Moore Science Temple. That's just the base of my knowledge of self foundation. Like, I study Nation of Islam. I study 5%ers. Like, when it's more knowledge of self, and he talks about, the instructions is the higher self and the lower self. There's two selves when you understand this. The higher self, the lower selves. The higher self is the mother of virtues, the harmonies of life. It breeds justice, mercy, love, and everything that's right. The lower self is the opposite of the higher self. It's an illusion, right? It breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder. So every time you hate or that evil side of you, that's your lower self operating. That ain't, and that's nothing on the outside, man. That's something from within. So you have, if man must find his savior, he must look within. If man must find his devil, he must look within. Quit searching outside of yourself, man, to know yourself, to understand yourself, right? And this is, I mean, like, knowledge of self is for real. All this came in the creation of fallen man. Like, man, it was a spirit of God. That's our connection. That's our tie. Time never was when man was not. As long as God been around, man being the thought of God, man been around. So the spirit man, you know what I'm saying, went through many phases, and the ethers, as the ethers slowed down, man was started slowing down into the flesh. Man was absorbed into the flesh. We talking about the beginning of the creation and fall of man. Man, the fall is this plane. The fall is this plane, the manifestation. With this plane come foes. Like survival of the fittest, survival of the best. This don't happen on the soul plane. This don't happen in the spirit plane. Man eat the beast, beast eat the plant. None of these things exist. This physicality exists on these planes. And so this is the fall. This carnal nature, this garb of flesh. When we took on this garb of flesh, and also a foe came with this. So know thyself, right? Know thyself. Know thyself and know God. You know, I don't care what religion you in. Know thyself and know God. Real talk. For real. Because a lot of times we be trying to find things outside of us to save us. You got to tap in yourself. You got to tap into yourself, and you're going to unfold. Right? You're going to unfold. You're going to start knowing your purpose. You're going to start knowing your things. You're going to start knowing your walk in playing a life. Right? And then you're going to know how to start, who to surround yourself with. So, yeah, knowledge of self is most important, man. And I'm going to get into a lot of teachings and things on that on this podcast. Like I said, I'm going to be all over the place. The business sector, spirituality sector, knowledge sector, information sector, current news, the whole thing, you know. Didn't get to catch the vice president debate. You know, I think I was end up doing a podcast for someone. So I wasn't able to catch that. How I feel about politics, man. My personal thing about politics, man, they need to rewrite a whole new constitution, right? Scrap that joint. Because long as we got that as our fundamental base of the laws, man, we ain't gonna never be right. It ain't gonna never be equal, right? And it's just not never gonna happen. The whole thing need to be rewritten. Some things can be kept. A lot of stuff gonna have to need to come up out of there. And then also, man, I feel like it should be an age limit, like on political. Like once you get 70, 65, it's time for you to step down. We need new, younger, refreshed people in politics, because you know what I'm saying, the younger people bring new ideas, seeing things differently. Like someone from 19, if you've been in politics, I feel like this, if you've been sitting in politics since the on Senate, if you're in the Senate, you're in the House, whatever, you've been on there since the 70s, get out the way, right? Get out the way. 80s, get out the way. We need these new younger. We need the 90s people. We need the 35s, the 30s, 35, 40-year-olds starts coming into this. Let them get them 20 years, 25 years in with the new, fresh idea as we bringing in more younger people, because you start seeing the world different. We start seeing we start seeing what the change. They understand the changes that need to be made for their future. When you 50, 60, when you 70, 80 and still in politics, your future's done with, in a sense, right? Let's bring these younger people on board so they know it's gonna be their future. right? We got to start bringing some new, refreshed minds, new, refreshed life into these politics. We got these people that been in the Supreme Court for telling how long, been in these positions in Congress and telling how long. They got these old slave mentality ideas of punishments, things of that nature, and they really holding up and stopping a lot of progress that could be made in this country. So that's how I feel about politics as well. And I read, and I'm telling you, boy, I read Jesse Ventura's book, Democrips and Rebloodicans, man, and you realize that, everyone's in the same, what I'm saying, it's the same boat. It don't matter what side of their side, it's really the same boat. They lying, cheating, stealing, and so, but yeah, man, that's the reconstruction that really need to be done, and I'm with Killer Mike, man. Like, we got to start putting our own to the front. Forget trying to serve that master, that master. Let's put our own to the front. Let's take everybody that we got. Those that, see odds or whatever. We take the best of this side of what we got, the best of that side. We sit back and say what we feel like is gonna work. No, that ain't of importance at this moment. And then we bring together, we have a 10-point almost system like the Black Panthers, and then we say this is our candidate, this is what we fighting for. This is who we pushing, and we back each other. We be so caught up in split amongst each other as a people, going for the Democrats, going for the Democrips, going for the Rebloodicans, and that, it's divide and conquer. And we never seem to able to move forward as a people. And you can say, yeah, we have, but I'm 46 years old. Honestly, where have we moved as a people in my 46 years? It seems like we're still fighting for the same rights almost, to be equal. We still dealing with police brutality. We still living in the lowest of neighborhoods. Our schooling system, our education system is still the lowest in the urban communities. So, like, where have we advanced? And my personal belief is that, I feel like desegregation hurt us. Because when we was focused on us, we had our own, in our own community. We had our own stuff. Doctors, hospitals, schooling, all these things we had, like where I'm from. Like before segregation and all that, man, we had, desegregation and all that, like, man, our community had businesses. The north side today had businesses, clubs, their own schooling, nursing home, hospital, park, pool, everything. After desegregation, once that, man, we lost everything in our community. This wasn't getting taken care of no more. You know what I'm saying? We have nothing to show for it in our community. We got the Hubbard School that used to be the black school. They fixed that up, and turned into some apartments, which is good. And we got a Dollar General. Dollar General, the only business we got across the tracks. Dollar General outside, Mr. Larry Car Wash, a black car wax car. You know what I'm saying? He gonna do your detailing, Mr. Larry Detailing, and then Ula's Beauty Salon. We got the Ula's Beauty Salon there. Then we got the Mexicans got their car lot, right? So we don't really have no, like, the businesses that used to be there, grocery stores, and things of that nature and all that, barbershops, in a sense, and this all the stuff that was there. And then the housing is they tearing down housing. It's almost more lots available than housing available. And so, yeah, I feel like we stopped as a people investing in our community once I feel like we was told that, okay, we're going to let y'all win our stuff and start taking our money and spending it over there and then abandon our community. So that's just my personal stance. Am I racist or none of that? No way impossible. But I feel that desegregation hurt us as a black community. I really feel that way. And so when it comes to politics, I feel like that was a political thing. Like, yeah, well, we tripping. Like, I feel like they was tripping. I feel like they seen how much money we had generating within the Black Wall Streets and in our community, that they like, we can get, if we bring them over here, since that's what they want to, we can get their money And now we're going to economically grow more and, you know what I'm saying, taking their dollars, right? That's what I feel. I feel like it, you know what I'm saying, that became a political play, right? But yeah, it was great for the advancement of the United States. But was it great for advancement as for our people? You know, and then it's kind of like the 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 13th Amendment. Like that wasn't something done out of love. Like, nah, this is a political strategy for war. This is a war strategy. This is what, yeah, that was a war strategy. That I need to do this to get more soldiers and to weaken their their dollar structure system. We all know the backing of the South back then was cotton. We knew who was King Cotton. We knew who was picking the cotton and things of that nature, right? So if you free them, that's kind of like taking their workers, stopping their money in the middle of a war. We know money funnel war. Man, I ain't gonna get here, man. Come on, man. But y'all ain't know I knew nothing like this, did you? But nah, but this is real. So yeah, I just feel like, yeah, as a whole, as a black communities, with desegregation came the the deconstructing and destruction of our communities. Because all during this time you have pivotal, powerful black people assassinated, killed, taken out the way, right? And then you after that you ushering in the crack, 80 mandatory minimum. Like, man, this is all economics. Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? And it goes back. That's why it's a clause in the 13th Amendment. But we're gonna talk about all of that in the next episode, though, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in with me, man. Just going over some of the things that I've been talking about, tapping in with me on my new podcast, Kardell Sims Podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, tune in to the episodes. I will be dropping them. Man, if anything, check out my website, www.kardellsims.com, man. Go there, order a book, support the movement, become a sponsor, things of that nature to help those brothers on the inside to get some hope in their hands. Let them know that there's some people out here that been through what they've been through, and they're out here making a difference, making an impact on their communities, on their lives, and doing big things, and that is possible. So, man, thank y'all for tuning in with me. This is the first episode of the Kardell Sims Podcast. Again, man, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and tune in.